So we're continuing the Maimer of Atot Tetzaveh in Torah Or, and we mentioned that by considering or making yourself like a shiraim means leftovers, you're able to subjugate all your desires that are foreign to godliness. And it's also written in the verses, V'oyo she'eris Yaakov, Bagoyim. When Am Yisrael, the remnants of Yaakov, are considering themselves as she'eris, as remnants, Torum yodcha tzorecho, then you are able to overcome your enemies. V'cholei v'cho yikosu. As the pasuk says, all your enemies will be obliterated. Then the Maimer speaks about v'ainu b'chinas chochma b'chinas shemen, that chochma is alluded to shemen, to oil. And also, and how do we create oil? By crushing the olives. Shemen connects itself to the wick. And ultimately it's being consumed, the oil is consumed through the light that catches onto the wick. Then nothing is left of it. But when oil is completely consumed, but the wick, something is left of it. The ashes are left of it. Similarly, chokhmah is nullification. That it's completely consumed with the light of the candle that is produced through the mitzvah. To have the revelation of the infinite light of Hashem upon his soul. So we find that through the Avodah, through the service of the work, the labor of pressing, crushing the olives, it leads to humility and leads to humbleness, to be like remnants. And a person is capable of transforming the olives, the shichecha, the forgetfulness that comes from the animalistic soul, that is the epitome of it is klipas nega, the husk and shell of noiga, that is a mixture of good and bad, transforms it to shemen, to oil, to wisdom, to remember. As we said, the oil is retrieving the learning of 70 years. And the same way that kindling light in a physical way is being done through shemen, and without the oil, the wick would be consumed very quickly, and the light of the candle would not have any existence. It would come and go very quickly. And by having the oil there, the psila, the wick, is catching beautifully, and it's burning for a long time. Similarly, a psila, what we are talking about in the Maimer is that the psila, the wick is the guf, is the body. The wick is the body. And the light and the illumination, the simcha, the joy of the mitzvah, and that's all part of the wick. The shemen is the nullification. The shemen is to be nullified. As we said before, like the shemen is completely consumed. In order for the infinite light to dwell in the mitzvahs in a revealed way, in the nefesh adam, in the soul of man, and that the simcha of mitzvah will be, the joy of the mitzvah will shine in him, will illuminate him, after the fulfillment of the mitzvah, this can be done only through crushing the oil. And how do you crush? This can only be done through crushing and the oil also. And what do you need to do? It says, merirus nafshe, to be the bitterness of one's soul. By the bitterness of the soul, he transforms the bitter olive of the animalistic soul to the oil of Kedusha. And now he is able to create a vessel that the light of the infinite light of Hashem can be elevated, as we said, be'aloas Aaron esaneos, that Aaron would elevate the candles. And through this, Miskayim b'nafsho, the infinite light of Hashem that is drawn through the mitzvah. Mashein kim b'lei b'chinas shemen. But what are you going to do without oil? The light of the candles cannot exist just by the wick. It's being consumed quickly. It says the Aveda, the work of Aaron was done outside of the parochas, outside of the curtain. What is the inyan of the curtain? It's written in Tilim Peidalad 84 that Shemesh Umogen, there's a sun, there's the Mogen, there's the casing. Havaya Lekim, similarly, the same idea is with Havaya Lekim. Havaya is the Shemesh, and Lekim is the casing, is the concealment, concealing the Shemesh, concealing the revelation of Havaya. It's like the curtain, the parochas that conceals Havaya. Pirush Kishem Havaya and Yichudoi Loi. Shem Havaya is the supernal union. Ech Shehu Einod Milvadei, explaining how there's nothing but Hashem. And everything is insignificant when it comes to Hashem. It's written in Daniel and in Zohar. The prophet Daniel writes this Loshen, this language. Everything is insignificant before Hashem. Why? Because Shem Havaya is something that the name of Havaya represents something that is higher than the time. Hoyo, meaning was, is, and will be. Berega echod, in one moment, it's higher than space. So when it comes to Shem Havaya, from the perspective of Shem Havaya, Einod Milvada, there's nothing but Hashem. There's no importance, there's no significance to any created beings. Everything is insignificant, everything is secondary, everything is nullified to the supernal union, to the complete nullification that is coming from Hashem, that from Hashem's perspective. V'Shem Elokim, and now when it comes to Shem Elokim, the name Elokim, its objective is to conceal and to hide, that the world should think of himself as a yesh, as an existing entity. But Hashem's honor is everywhere. On top, even though we have Shem Elokim, even though we have the concealment, Shem Elokim is the lower union. So Shem Havaya is the Chudoi Lo, Shem Elokim is the lower union. Name, in general, the Chassidus explained the name is a reference to the attribute of Malchus, of kingship. And because of Malchus, the world is seemingly has its own identity, as independent, seemingly. That concept is generated from Shem Elokim. Because of the concealment of Shem Elokim, it gives room, it gives, so to speak, a place for the creation of the world that feels itself as it's running on, naturally has its own course. But nevertheless, the world is required to be nullified to Hashem, like the nation is nullified to the king. This type of a bitul is called bitul hayesh, yichud atitoah, the lower level of the lower union, meaning that even after the bitul, even after the nullification, the created being doesn't feel that he's completely nullified. It's all of its bitul, all of its nullification is only when it comes to the honor of God, the extension of God. That's why he's nullified. Ve'ine Shem Elokim umogin l'Shem Havaya. We learned that Shem Elokim, the name Elokim, is only a casing to Shem Havaya. Kimogin l'shoisim l'Shemesh, like the protector that is built, that is made for the sun. It can't really see the sun. Shem Elokim is concealing the supernal light of Shem Havaya. If it would be standing and looking if there was a radiation from Shem Havaya, and you would be looking into it, you would be able to see. All the worlds will be completely nullified, unable to see such revelation. It's like looking directly at the sun.
Yeah. Or the opposite too, when it's dark, like when you're in a bright area, like pirates had one of their eyes covered, so that as soon as they went under deck, they could flip to the other side, and one eye was used to the dark, so they could see in the dark. It wouldn't take the time to adjust. But if they went from the bright to the dark, or vice versa, even if you go from the dark to the bright,
it takes time to adjust.
Everything's so bright you can't see.
So when it comes to creating the worlds that are limited, that they are feeling themselves as an independent, this can be done only through the concealment of Shem Elokim. Now we can understand why the service of Aaron was outside of the curtain. The Yechudat Torah, the lower union. Says that Paroiches was Parshas Truma. In the previous last week Parsha, it says that Paroiches. What was the purpose of the Paroiches? Ve'ivdilo, to separate ben hakodesh uven kodesh hakodashim, between the holy and the holy of holies. But we said that Paroiches, according to Chassidus, is the Shem Elokim that conceals the light that is higher than Shem Elokim, and the light that is higher is the light that is higher than the world is Shem Havaya. V'Shem Havaya v'Shom hu inyan arichas haneros v'simcha shel mitzvah. Outside of the curtain, that's where Aaron set up the candles. That's where the joy of the mitzvah is. Michutz laPoroiches, outside of the curtain. Bechinas Yechudat Torah, the lower union. The Alter Rebbe says, Liya yisratz libcho leYechuda Elo, and that leads to, as it says in Sefer Yetzirah, Tikkun Zohar in the Mishnah, Erotz libcho, causes the heart to run, running to where? From the lower union to the higher union, from Yechudat Torah to Yechuda Elo. Ki simcha zui bechinas rotze benefesh, because this simcha of the mitzvah, the joy of the mitzvah, is rotze benefesh. It's a state in the soul that wants to run, that wants to get out of itself. Why does it have it? Because of the revelation of Ein Sof. Mechamas gilo Ein Sof Baruch Hu mamish b'mitzvah. Because of the revelation of Ein Sof that is embedded, is enclosed in his mitzvahs. Because of that, the soul would have a yearning of B'chol Moedecho, and this is really what we're trying to reach, the level of B'chol Moedecho, with all your might. B'simcha shi b'chinas uvalus haneos, to go from the state of Yaruch, setting up the candles, to the levels of elevating uvalus haneos, from Yaruch to Ve'alus, from Yechudat Torah to Yechuda Elo, to get to the state of Rotz Libcho, the desire to go from one simcha to the next. There's a level also of, you have Ivdila Paroiches, Michutz la Paroiches, and there's a level of Me'ala Paroiches. Me'ala Paroiches is higher than the screen that separates, higher than the place that conceals the revelation that comes from Atzilus. In a place where there's no rotze, there's no thirst to be one with the leikus, there's no simcha. What is simcha? We learned that is only when there's ischachus, when there's a new thing that come into place, a new thing. And when it comes to Atzilus, Iyu v'Garmu Echad, it says Tikkun Zohar, he and his vessels are one, and all the spheres are united with him, with Hashem. And there's no chidush, and there's no novelty, like the novelty that you're elevating sparks in this world. This world is michutz laParoiches, it's outside the paroch, and therefore there is the joy, there's the novelty. That through the elevations, the elevating of the sparks, it brings chidush, it brings the simcha of mitzvah. But there's a level of Me'ala Paroiches. In Me'ala Paroiches, that's a level that there is no concealment. But therefore there's no rotze. You're already there. Where does Aaron get its strength? And this is the next point of the Maimah. What gives Aaron the power to elevate the soul from michutz lapareches to be me'al pareches, or to be from yarech to the level of uve'alois, from setting up the candles to elevating the candles. Where does Aaron have this power to elevate the soul? Michutz lapareches, even though it's outside, it being done outside the curtain, meaning it's affected by the concealment, it's limited to all the limitations of the world. Where does he have the power to elevate the nefesh, to have a revelation from Ein Sof, from the limitless, infinite light of Hashem? In Al Zenemar, it's written, Chukas Olam Ledoroisem. Me'ez B'nei Yisrael. It's an everlasting statue. Me'ez B'nei Yisrael, from the children of Israel. Pirush, what is Me'ez B'nei Yisrael, from the children of Israel? Ainun B'chinas Ois Yisatero Sheme'alef V'ataf. Eis is the first letter is Aleph, and second letter is Taf. So the letters of Torah that are coming from Aleph all the way to Taf. The 24 letters from the beginning to the end. Everything that these letters represents, obviously represents the Torah. The Ainu Shmin Zalideh Sekatero Shubnei Yisrael, through the learning of Torah, being occupied in learning Torah. You're learning and you're contemplating and you pay attention to the letters that you speak, that comes out of your mouth, with awe and love. These letters are rooted very high. What is very high? Supernal wisdom of Hashem. And that's why the Torah is called light. The Torah is illuminating the candle. The candle of the mitzvah itself is a vessel to the light of the Torah. What is the Torah? The Torah gives life and light to the mitzvahs. And the Torah itself, it's what enables and gives the power to Aaron to be the Shushvin, to be the best man, to draw down revelation, to draw down avo, to draw down love, to draw down light and revelation in the nefesh adam, in the soul of man. So in other words, we are saying that Aaron get his strength to do what he does, and we said, what does Aaron doing? What is he contributing? And what's his role? And Aaron's role is causing to be the best man of the queen. We said to be the one that draws down avo, draws down love in a revealed way in the soul of man, that you should have light, joy in when you do the mitzvah. And where does Aaron get his power? Me'ez, from where? From the Aleph to Taf, from the letters of Torah. When it comes to an amoret, to ignorant person, that lacks the level of chokhmah, the rabbis said in Pirkei Avos, Perik Beis, Mishnah Hey, Veloy amoretz chosid, that amoretz, an ignoramus, cannot be a chosid. Even if he has a joy in doing the mitzvah, but nevertheless, since he is not learning Torah, he is missing a very important ingredient. The avo that comes through Aaron, the slav that comes through Aaron is missing, and he cannot be called chosid. What is the inyan of chosid? It's chesed and avo. But in order to draw down the Torah down here to Israel, to the Jews, this could be done through Moshe. Up till now, we learned about Aaron. Aaron is getting his power from the Torah. Now, where does Aaron get the Torah from? From Moshe Rabbeinu. The drawdown of Torah down here, through the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. Chumeshe kosu b'Zohar, it's written in Zohar Chelek Aleph, al pasuk ma Yisrael nodam b'chol amor sheyamol tachas hashemesh. This is a pasuk from Keheles, Shlomo Melech. King Solomon says, what is the benefit for a person to toil under the sun? What's the purpose of all toiling? Everybody ends the same way, right? What's the purpose of all toiling? That's the question that Shlomo Melech is posing. And the Zohar explained this pasuk. He says, Shani amolo deoraiso di leilo min shimsho. The pasuk says, my Torah, and what benefit is it for man to toil under the sun? But the toil of Torah, the Zohar, right, is above the sun. So there is a benefit from the toiling of Torah. Anything that is under the sun, that is in the level of being under the sun, says what benefit is it? But anything that is above the sun, which is Torah, is a benefit. V'shamu madregas Moshe kvad pe ukvad loshin. Even though Moshe is the one that is handing to us, the Bnei Yisrael, the Torah, he is called kvad pe. He has a hard time speaking. Moshe Rabbeinu was stuttering, he had a hard time speaking. Uchvad loshin. He has a speech impediment. The Torah is the wisdom of God, and it's drawn from the supernal wisdom. And Chochmah, law, supernal wisdom, is the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. And since his all occupation was in Torah, but what Torah? Torah shelamaylo, Torah above, that is higher than the limited, separated world, and even higher than their source, Yehudai law, it was difficult for him to come down to be the best man of the queen and to tell the Jews the Torah in speech. Speech is Malchus, we said. The source of all the 10 utterances that the world was created. And that's what it means, kvad peh, having a hard time speaking. The speech is connected to Malchus, that is called peh. And to him, to Moshe Rabbeinu, it was very difficult. It was heavy on him. That's the interpretation of the Mital Rebbe, the second Lubavitcher Rebbe, on this concept, kvad peh. And that's why it's called the best man of the king, not the Shushvina de Matronisa, not the best man of the queen. Because Matronisa is Dibu. The queen is the Dibu Elyon, that gives the supernal speech that gives life to the world through the 10 utterances. It says, Lav Ucha de Malkul Ishtab. So the king is not, it's not his way to spend time with vanities, with small things, with little things. The king is dealing with big things. Meaning it's not the way of the king to deal with the 10 utterances, it's the way of the king to deal with the words of Torah. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu was called the best man of the king. Because through him, there was a revelation of Ein Sof that is called king. And every parsha, every single parsha in the Torah, it says, Vayemer Hashem al Moshe. Hashem spoke, every parsha in the Torah. It says, Vayemer Hashem al Moshe. Hashem said to Moshe.
Rabbi, in Egypt, did Hashem speak to Moshe? Moshe told Aaron, Aaron told Paro? Is that how it went?
Yeah. It says, He's going to be your mouth. Ki bechinas. So what we said before was written in Sefer HaMamorim Taf Kuf Samech Zayin. Ki bechinas esek haTorah eino b'derech simcho shel mitzvah. The occupation Torah, learning Torah, hine eino b'derech simcha shel mitzvah שהוא בחינת רץ לבך מחוץ לפרחס אלא בחינת שוב לאכול. התורה הוא גילוי ייחוד יסבח למטה כמו למעלה לדעתו ראשית דבר הוויה. When a person is found, or when you are at a level that you're outside the curtain, then your avodah is rotza, you want to be inside the curtain. You have a desire to come in. You have the thirst to come in, to be one with the Ein Sof. And then there is joy. As we said before, there's a chidush, there is some kind of novelty that is happening. You are outside and you're coming in. You are being elevated to be one with the Ein Sof that is higher than the world. But Esek HaTorah itself, and someone being occupied in learning Torah, and especially someone that is learning, that is occupation, that's his specialty. Then the learner, the one who learns, he is united with Hashem. And the revelation of Elokus, the revelation of godliness is the same way it is above, it's down here. He explains that when it comes to, he calls it Shimsho, when it comes to the light of Atzilus, the revelation that comes from the world of emanation, from the world of Atzilus, that shines higher than the world, and in order to reach it, to grasp it, and to hold on to it, a person has to be elevated to be higher than the world. He has to have rotza, he has to wanting to get out, le'elo min shimsho, to be higher, and to get so to speak to the sun, to the revelation of Atzilus. Le'elo min shimsho, it's even higher than Atzilus. You have shimsho, and you have le'elo min shimsho. You have the sun, and you have something that is higher than the sun. You have Atzilus and something that is higher than Atzilus. Le'elo min shimsho is a level that is higher than Atzilus. And from that, and from the perspective of that level, even in the lower world, there is a revelation of Hashem's unity in the same level that it perceives upstairs. Whatever, when it comes to levels that are higher than Atzilus, for them there is also Yichud Olah, the supernal union. What the same union that they have upstairs, they see for them it's also happening down here. So why are we saying it? Because if an individual is on that level and he learns, his learning of Torah is on that level, is not considered someone that is standing outside of the curtain. He is inside the curtain. And therefore he doesn't have the desire. The one who is outside has the rotze. The one that is outside doesn't have it. Dvar Havaya Sheikhin Bekirbo, it says the word of Hashem dwells within him, is united with him. Even when he's lamata, even when he's down here. So it's written in the prophet Yeshaya says, "V'dvorei asher samti beficho," the words that I've placed in your mouth, literally my words. Inam Razal, Rabbi said in Tractate Beitza, "Matznisom malkiso, kemelech atzmi shemisached midvar havai zo halacha," and that's written in Seches Shabbos. Sheyehefse kach kilu. The word "v'dvorei asher samti beficho" means the words that I've placed in your mouth. What do you understand from it? That when you learn Torah, the learner, the one who learns, can reach a level that he's united with Elokus, with godliness, to such degree that what comes out of his mouth is, so to speak, the words of God that are coming out of his mouth. And when he's saying halacha, when he gives halachic ruling, that psak is exactly the will of God. Dvar havai zo halacha. The word of God is the halacha that is transmitted through his mouth. That's the meaning of dvar havai zo halacha. Someone that his Torah learning is on the level of that's his profession, that's his specialty. It's not something that he's doing on the side. For example, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai and his friends. It's also described in Tractate Shabbos Yud Aleph and the Rebbe Rashab in Taf Rishayin Beis. He explains that Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai and v'chaverov, and his group, his colleagues, their Torah was such a high level that were pturim min atfilah. They didn't have to stop for davening. She'atfilah bechinas bitul. What is davening? Davening is nullifying oneself. That's why there's a bowing in davening, prostrating oneself, and the drawdown of Ein Sof. That's the union of davening. Bitul and the drawdown of Ein Sof. And this hamshachas were done, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai were able to accomplish them through Torah. We need to accomplish it through davening. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did it through Torah. המשוחס אלו נמשוחס על ידי העסק התורה גם כן. כמו שאמר רבי שמעון יוחאי, רבי שמעון יוחאי said in זוהר חלק ג' ואחד כתירו התכתרנו. Meaning, with one knot, I connected myself with Hashem. What is that knot? שהוא בחינת ביטול בארץ ברוך הוא ממש. He was completely nullified to Hashem, בבחינת ייחוד אלוה. רבי שמעון בר יוחאי was on the level of ייחוד אלוה, the supernal union. Now we can see why the one who is in the level of Torah Or Menashe, that Torah is his profession, that we can say, Dvorah asher samti beficha, the word that I've placed in your mouth, what does it mean Torah Or Menashe? That through the Torah, through the learning of Torah, he's united completely with Hashem. In such a way that Lamata is K'moi Lamaylo, that what happened over here is the same that what happens upstairs. You bring an interesting analogy, which is a common analogy in Chassidus. It's brought in the Mamorim of Taf Kuf Samech Zayin. So he writes regarding Torah Or Menashe, that the Torah, it's his profession. For example, a tool, an instrument that you would describe as a profession, like let's say someone has an axe, right? So chopping wood, the axe is just in the hand of the wood chopper. The wood chopper is the main thing over here. And the wood chopper is cutting the wood. So the gaz and the axe, it doesn't have an inyan to itself. It doesn't have any concept to itself. It's just a tool that is being used to do a job. He said the same thing over here. The one who learns Torah to such level, he's just a vessel. He's like a pipe. That through him, the revelation of Ein Sof is revealed in the world. Through the axe, God cuts the wood. A person cuts the wood. But it's the person that they're doing it. The person that you're giving him the job, you're going to do A. The tool is just an instrument. The tzaddik, the one who learns Torah to such degree, he becomes like a pipe. It's like he is not there. He's just a tool that brings it down. So the revelation of Ein Sof. The tzaddik is the tool. Right. The tzaddik becomes a tool. Right. That's the ultimate nullification. He writes another point. It says there's a mimer Azal. There's a statement the rabbis said, "V'talmud Torah keneged kulam." Meaning the learning of Torah equivalent to them all. What I mean equivalent to them all? Equivalent to all the mitzvahs, all the good deeds that were mentioned before. What are the things that doesn't have a measure? We said in davening every day. And Talmud Torah, and then it concludes, the statement ends off with Talmud Torah keneged kulam. The learning of Torah compares to them all. Why? Because fulfilling the mitzvahs is that the person is down here, and through the mitzvahs he is elevating himself to a higher place, lemaila. He is being elevated. But when it comes to the one who learns Torah, and he learns Torah in such a way that he is nullified and he is united with the Torah, there is no difference between the upper and lower. And Yechudai Law, the upper, the supernal union, shines by him down here the same way it shines upstairs.
Would you say the above comes down and meets halfway in that point?
No. That the above and down becoming one. That whatever is happening l'mayla, upstairs, it's happening down here. That's why it says by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, there was no such a thing as the Fahem, the Beis HaMikdash was not destroyed. Because there's a Beis HaMikdash upstairs, l'mayla, in the higher world, that correspond to the same one down here. Since he was connected l'mayla, for him the Beis HaMikdash was still here. So it says, in order to get to this level of nullification, it's written, it says they have to bring to Moshe Rabbeinu oil that is very pure, that is very clean and without any sediments, the first drop, as we learned. What is it representing? Bechinas chokhmah. Ki ezu chokhmah reis anelod. It says, who is a chacham? Who is a smart man? Someone that can see the outcome. It's written in the Gemara in Tomit. Dehainu anelod ma'in leyesh. What does it mean? It says, in order for a person to reach the level of bitul, such intense bitul, when he learns Torah, that the words of God that he is uttering, that's the words of God. It's not him. It's as if he's not there. It's written in Al Pasha, they should take to you pure olive oil, meaning that within every person, he needs to reveal the level of chokhmah. What does it mean to reveal the level of wisdom? That the character of chokhmah, the DNA of chokhmah, is bitul. Like we see with making the physical oil. How do you make physical oil? By crushing, by bitul. In order to get to bitul, it has to come through contemplation. What are you contemplating about? That the godly ray is giving room to the world, and it gives life to the world. And this constantly needs to be renewed by the source, by levels that are higher than the world, by godly levels that are surpassing the world and are not comparable to the world. And this is the meaning when it says, Ezu Chacham, who is a wise man? Aroya Esanelot, someone that can see what will come out, what is the outcome. Meaning, how do you reveal the Chokhmah? In the nefesh, in the soul, is through contemplation that the ray that gives life to the world is being renewed, is noilod, is being renewed all the time, something from nothing ex nihilo. As it says, Hashem is constantly renewing creation. Chol Yom Tomid, constantly, every day, he renews Ma'aseh Bereshis, the creation that was done on the first day. Because the renewal of ex nihilo is being done constantly. It says, B'chol yom tomid, every day, constantly, it's being done. It says in Malachi, the prophet Malachi tells us, Ani avai lo ishonisi. When it comes to Shem Avai, the name of Avai, it was not changed, even though Hashem created the world. And you are the same as we said in the davening, and you are exactly the way you were before the world was created and after the world was created. And this new concept, to be a yesh, to be an entity, it's only a ray. And therefore, since it's just a ray, we need to have a renewal constantly, that it should not be nullified, that it should continue to exist. One of the interpretation of the nusach, of the way that the davening is formed, it says, "Mechadash betul b'chol yom tamid." Hashem is renewing its light, is renewing creation constantly every day. That Ma'aseh Bereshis, that the creation is Ma'aseh Bereshis is the power that activates Bereshis, that activates the world, is the godly revelation that gives life to the world. And this revelation needs, or this ray, needs to constantly be renewed. This ray that gives life to the world constantly has to be renewed. Regarding Hashem, it says, Hashem haven't changed. And the inner meaning, what does it mean he didn't change? That the creation of the world did not cause any change in him. And it's exactly before and after the creation of the world. And not like a human being. There are times that you do something, you can be completely be caught by it. It becomes you. You can change. It changes you. And why doesn't it change Hashem creating the world? It's because to him it was just a ray, and it's not significant to his essence. And since that this chayus, this vitality, gives life to the world, is only a ray from godliness, it needs to be constantly renewed at every single moment. We know, it's a known concept, that anything that is created in a way that it's not gradual needs to constantly be renewed by its source in order for it to exist. If something is created in a gradual way, it can exist, so to speak, on its own by the previous level that is connected to that level. So it's like some kind of a pyramid but if you decide that you want to have a shortcut and have the stone of the pyramid standing without all the foundation, you need to have a constant miracle for it to be there, to stand there. So he writes, since that the vitality that creates the world is just a ray from godliness, it needs to constantly be renewed by its source. The ray itself needs to constantly be renewed, and then the world is being renewed because of the concept that I just said, that anything that was created not in a gradual way need to be renewed by its source in order for it to continue to exist. So how does it relate to us? That the ray that is giving life to the world, that vitalizes the world, nullifies itself to its source. That ray is nullified to its source, even to levels that from their perspective there is no room to the world. And it's proven that without its renewal from its source, it wouldn't have any existence. When people will contemplate, or a person would contemplate on these concepts that we just mentioned, how the whole world is just a ray of Hashem and constantly needs to be renewed, and it's nullified to its source, he himself would reach the level of bitul, the nullification to Hashem. It's written in the Zohar that one spirit leads to the other. Bitul Eir Ein Sof Baruch Hu Mamish HaNafshe Be'esek HaTorah, to be completely nullified to the infinite light of Hashem Be'esek HaTorah, when he learns Torah. Meaning Ruach, Haisi Ruach, that the closest of your Ruach, your effort down here, draws the spirit of Kedusha, of sanctity from above. Meaning that the Ein Sof will be revealed and will be united, will be one with him once he is occupied in Torah. Because through the bitul, through the nullification, a person becomes a proper vessel to the revelation, to the supernal revelation. And we know that Hashem is not dwelling on something that is not nullified to him. Now we're going back to the beginning of the Maimer, which it says, "V'zeu v'ata tetzaveh." You shall command Bnei Yisrael, as Bnei Yisrael. You shall command Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish people. Tetzaveh. We learned what does Tetzaveh means. Meloshin tzavta v'hiskashrus. Tzavta v'hiskashrus means to be connected. It's connecting. It's a connecting power. V'ata tetzaveh, you will connect. How you will connect? Hashem is telling Moshe to connect. And we'll soon see connecting to what. But how will you connect? It says, "Ve'ikhu elecho shemen zayis zoch," that it should take to you pure olive oil. And who they should give it to? They should give it to Moshe, even though Moshe is not the one to light the menorah. And then, because that they brought it to Moshe, the outcome is that there is chuk haseilom, that is an everlasting statue. It's an everlasting. It's something that will be forever. The letters of Torah causing, what do they cause? Giving the power to Aaron to set up the light, to arrange it. We said, what does it mean to arrange it? That he was able to bring the joy of the mitzvah. Why is he able to bring the joy of the mitzvah? Why is he able to set up the candles? Because the letters of Torah are drawn through Moshe Rabbeinu. So the reason why we are bringing the oil to Moshe, and only after we brought the oil to Moshe, there is the commandment to Aaron to set up the candles, because in order to set up the candles, to set up the mitzvahs, we need to first bring the light of the letters of Torah. And he needs to be one with it. In order to be one with the letters of Torah, a person has to bring the oil. And what is the oil? Is the nullification, is the bitul. And how do you get to nullification? As we said, is the contemplation of a chochom aroy sanoilo. You see the renewal of the world, how it's completely nullified to its source, and how it's created in a way of chidush through a ray, and the ray itself needs to be connected, to be nullified to its source, to be connected to a place where there is no room for the world. So now, that was the first. So what is V'ata Tetzaveh? Is that you shall command, what you should connect, and how you connect, by them giving you the oil, giving you the bitul, and then Aaron draws power through the Torah, and he is now able to bring the simcha of mitzvah, the avod, the chesed, into the nefesh adam, into the soul of man when he does the mitzvahs. But the second question that we mentioned is why, when it speaks about Moshe, it says Tomid, constant light. And when it speaks about Aaron, it says Me'erav ad boker, from evening till morning. Aaron is ratz libcho, because mechutz laparoch is outside. So therefore, there is the state of ratz libcho, that the heart is running, wants to go out of himself. So when you are outside the paroiches, it says me'erav ad boker, from evening till the morning. So because it starts off with reisha chashucha, it starts off with darkness, and then it goes into light. Aaron draws into the Jewish souls the supernal love, the joy of mitzvah, and through the revelation in the soul of man, through this revelation in the soul of man, it causes how does it affect the person? Now, what is being awakened is the thirst and the passion and desire of Ratz Libcho, that you want to go out, you want to be elevated, to be one with the Ein Sof. You are in Yehudat Torah, you are in the lower union, and you want to grow into the upper union. And that's the meaning of the verse, from the evening till the morning, that when it speaks about Aaron. Because this pasuk, it means, the pasuk is telling us that there are different times in Avodah Sodom, in the work of men. There's a time of Reisha Chashucha that starts off with darkness. Meaning, in the beginning, the neshama is in a state of darkness, in a state of concealment. And this world is only Yehudat Torah, is the lower union. And through the revelation of the supernal light that is being drawn into the nefesh, into the soul, with the power of Aaron, what is being awakened, he's being awakened with a desire, with a will to be one with the Ein Sof, which represents Hadar Ne'ero, the supernal union, and the light. Hadar Ne'ero, that it leads afterwards to light. But nevertheless, this thirst and this desire to go out of the state of being outside is only when the person is actually being outside. Is outside, is so to speak outside, removed from the light of Atzilus. And then he feels richuk, he feels he is distant. He feels that he's distant from Elikus. He's feeling that he is in the darkness. He is in a place of separation. And this awakens him to have Allah, to be elevated. It awakens him because he's in the Erev, he's in the darkness. And it's written again in Tafkuf Samach Zayin, he writes that the Pasuk says, Nafshi v'sicho b'laylo davka, that the soul has a greater thirst specifically at night. When is there's a greater thirst? When a time of darkness. And this rotzoi, this desire continues till the morning. It starts at night, but it continues till the morning. Why? Because at the time of the elevation, and the neshama is clinging to the world of Atzilus. The neshama is now, so to speak, glued, is one with the world of Atzilus. The world of Atzilus is one with godliness. You don't feel the thirst anymore. When do I feel the thirst? When I have the deficiency. When I'm lacking something. But if I'm able to fill it up, I'm no longer feeling hungry. Aval b'chinas Meishe, b'level Moshe Rabbeinu, shu b'chinas shoiv, or shuv le'echod, that you're returning back to the one. What does it mean returning back? If you're able to reach the level of Atzilus, you're able to be one with the source. How long can you stay there? You have a job to do in the world. So you have to come down. That's the inyan of shoiv. Rotza is that I want to get out. I want to get out of that situation. I'm outside of I finally made it. Now that's it. God wants us to be close to Him, but He also brought us to the world to do our job.
Is that what Aaron's sons did?
Right. But so that now the shoiv le'echod, it says the level of Moshe Rabbeinu is shoiv le'echod, which means returning back to the one is the revelation, v'gilu yichud esbar v'chinas yichud Allah, the revelation of Hashem's union in a state of the type of union of the supernal union. See, regarding that union, regarding yichud Allah, it's written la'alais ner tomid, to elevate a constant light. What is ner tomid? Shu gilu yichud elyon shelamaylo mazman. That's a revelation of a supernal union that is higher than time. And to Hashem, darkness is like light. It's written in Tilim, darkness it's like light, and it also says in the piyut, in the poetic words of someone that equals the greater one and the lower one, and the Alter Rebbe ends of the Maimon with Daila Mevin. And that's sufficient for the understanding. Now, regarding Moshe, it says, regarding Moshe Rabbeinu, it's written, La'alus ner tomid, that he is elevating the light, the candle, constantly. La'alus ner tomid. It's being done constantly. Why? Because Moshe Rabbeinu, as we learned before, is the best man of the king. And that is leading him to shoiv, which means to draw Elikus down here exactly the way it is upstairs. That's the objective of Moshe Rabbeinu. Not just to bring Elikus down into this world, but to bring Elikus with the same intensity down to this world as it is in the higher world. Lamato k'mo elamaylo. Why? Because the root of time, where does time coming from? Time came from Malchus. Hashem Melech, Hashem Molach, Hashem Imlech. Hashem was the king, Hashem is the king, Hashem will be the king. Melucha is a revelation, extension of light that was, here, and will be. When it comes to Atzmus, when it comes to the essence of Elikus, he's above time. And that's why it says about Moshe, Ish HaElokim, the man of God, meaning that he himself is above time. And that's why, since he's above time, it's written about him, La'alis Ner Tomid, to elevate the candle constantly. And since that this Hamshocho came through Moshe, which we said is La'elu Min Shimsha, is higher than the sun. We said the sun was Atzilus. And La'elu Min Shimsha is higher than Atzilus. So since this drawdown came through Moshe Rabbeinu, La'elu Min Shimsho, that is higher than the sun, Shelegabeya, that when it comes to this level of higher than the sun, the light that is in Atzilus, Eir HaShemesh sheBa'atzilus v'choshech Elom Zbiya and B'shov. So it comes to the level that is higher than the sun. The light that is in Atzilus and the darkness that is in the lower world, the light that is in the world of emanation and the darkness that is found in the lower world is equally the same. And that because of the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, because of who he was and the levels that he represented, which is L'mayla Min Shimsha, a level that is even higher than Atzilus, therefore his actions were constant. Because he's above time, he's not limited to time. And anything that he did or will do is something that that is permanent, that is forever. And that's the end of this Maimah.
What was that last bit again? So Moshe himself is above time?
Moshe himself, his level it's called the Elom Min Shimsha, higher than the sun. The sun represents Atzilus, and the Elom Min Shimsha is a level that is even higher than Atzilus. And when it comes to Atzilus, there's already reference to time. But if you can reach a level that is higher than Atzilus, then you're above time. And so when they say La'alos Ner Tomid, that they elevate, the Torah tells us you should command Bnei Yisrael to do what? To bring the candle, but in a constant way, Tomid. So when it comes to Aaron, it says from evening till the morning. Because Aaron, from his level, it was limited to time. It was outside the curtain. It's still on a level that needs to reach Atzilus, needs to get into the Paroiches. It's right now outside. When it comes to the Moshe Rabbeinu, since his level is already upstairs, higher than Atzilus, and he's not limited to time. And if he's not limited to time, it's Tomid. Anything that he does, since it's brought to him, it's a constant flow. It's not something that varies or changes.
So Moshe, for us, he was up there for like 40 days and 40 nights, but he was on a different
And that's
level.
what the Torah describes him as Ish Elokim, the man of God. And that's why we said before that it was difficult for him, the concept of speaking. Anything that constituted limitation was...
So was that the speech impediment that was only after the burning bush? He didn't have that before?
No, the Midrash says that he got it from being in the house of Pharaoh. It was a baby.
So always had that?
Yeah.
He always had that.
But the physical impediment had a source, had a higher source of why is it?